Hello, good evening, and welcome to HW News English. I am Shubham Chauhan. Is the RSS PM Modi relation now falling apart? That's the question that we will be focusing on tonight because there's some interesting statements that are coming in with regards to this matter, and from none other than the chief of the RSS, the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, which is almost like the ideological parent of the Bhartiya Janata Party. The RSS chief has made some interesting statements today, and there have been a series of statements that have been made by the RSS, some publications of the RSS on the current political scenario that we are seeing in not just Maharashtra but in the country where the BJP is not does not really have a majority of its own, and that it is dependent on allies to run the government in New Delhi. So we'll start with the latest first to help us understand this. Of course, we have our managing editor Sujit Nair who will join us. But before I get Sujit in, I want to just have this statement on the screen for you. This is what RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat said today, and I'm quoting: "There is no end." This is in fact this was at an event that where Mr. Mohan Bhagwat, the Sarsang Chalak of the RSS, was present, and this is what he said. I'm quoting: "There is no end of progress. People want to become Superman, but he doesn't stop there. Then he wants to become Devta, then Bhagwan, but Bhagwan says he's a Vishwaroop. Nobody knows whether there is anything bigger than that. There is no end of development. One should think that there is always scope for more. The workers should understand it, and one should always strive for more." Now, why are we talking about this statement? Of course, he hasn't taken any names. He hasn't addressed the Bhartiya Janata Party specifically, or he isn't talking about Mr. Modi directly. If viewers would remember, during the election campaign, the hectic election campaign, one statement of the Prime Minister that really stood out was at the receiving end of a lot of trolls, was where he said that God has sent me and convinced me that my energy is not biological. That is what Narendra Modi had said during the election campaign. And now, if we have, a lot of political pundits have really joined the dots, and they said Mr. Sangh Chalak is talking about people wanting to become Superman, then wanting to become Devta, then Bhagwan. And Bhagwan says he is Vishwaroop. So, interesting developments. We'll take you through what these comments mean. And like I said, we have our managing editor Sujit Nair, who is with us to help us understand what is really happening. I'll just check if Sujit can hear me. And okay, I think yes, we have him. I'll just take him on the call. Good evening, Sujit.
Hi. Good evening to you.
Interesting comments from the RSS chief. He's talking about Devta, Bhagwan, Insan, Superman, and all of this at a time when the relations between the Bhartiya Janata Party and the RSS, there has been a lot of speculation, a lot of talking about has that relation soured post what we saw on the 4th of June. Your first reaction to the Sarsang Chalak's statement today?
My first reaction is I said so. That would be my first reaction, because right from Lok Sabha elections, right during the Lok Sabha elections, there has been clear indications that Bharatiya Janata Party, that is, I'm sorry, I take back my words, Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, was not having the best of relationships with Narendra Modi. This was very, very clear, Shubham. There is no two questions about it. The fact is, what happened in Uttar Pradesh, the way Bharatiya Janata Party was trounced in Uttar Pradesh, the way Narendra Modi he won fairly. He got a lakh or something, but he was at one point in time trailing in Varanasi. All these were clear indications that there is something not right. The fact remains that the way Yogi Adityanath was treated, the fact remains that there were rumors that Yogi Adityanath and Sarsang Chalak, that is Dr. Mohan Bhagwat, met. Of course, later on it was said that they didn't. That was just a rumor. But the fact remains that a lot of people believe that they did. The fact is, the way Sarsang Chalak was the statements that Sarsang Chalak was making. Most importantly, Shubham, most importantly and interestingly, the way the president of Bharatiya Janata Party, actually went out to say that, there was a time when we needed RSS, but now Bharatiya Janata Party can stand on its own 2 feet. We don't need an RSS to kind of be our big brother. So that was a shocking case. No BJP president has ever said this. No BJP president has ever gone against the RSS. No BJP president has ever spoken against the RSS. No BJP president. In fact, RSS has been looming large over every BJP decision till Mr. Narendra Modi. In fact, till Mr. Narendra Modi 2.0. It is only after 2.0 that things started changing, where things started, where Mr. Narendra Modi started taking control, and his decisions were more or less authoritarian. I mean, he never bothered to kind of take people along and all of that. So that's when the real issue started. And believe me, it was getting more and more clear that there were issues between Bharatiya Janata Party and Sangh and the RSS. See, core differences, let me tell you. I will take 2 more minutes. Core differences. Sangh believes in nation first, organization next, person last. This is the core belief of Sangh. This is the core belief in which even Bharatiya Janata Party has been made. So primarily, this entire Sangh Parivar, as they call it, which Bharatiya Janata Party could be a part of, technically they are not, because they claim to be different. They claim to be different from the Sangh Parivar, but technically, the Sangh Parivar is the philosophy is that person is last. Somewhere down the line, with Modi guarantee, Abki Bar Modi Sarkar, and Modi all the way, this entire philosophy reversed. It reversed. It became Modi first, everything else next. So the point is, the core ideology of Sangh, the core idea of Sangh, the core thought process of Sangh got shifted. It was changed. It was mutated by the way Modi functioned. And obviously, there was no doubt in my mind that Sangh would go out against Modi. Of course, Sangh too, I am told, is divided in this. There are people who are pro-Modi, and there are people who are with Mohan Bhagwat, but majority of the Sangh, and Sangh follows certain discipline. So therefore, a majority of people today have no choice. Even if they are with Modi, they have no choice but to kind of agree to Dr. Mohan Bhagwat. And that is what you saw. So no surprises, Shubham, no surprises whatsoever.
Right. Sujit, like you said, you went as far as back as what JP Nadda, the president of the Bharatiya Janata Party, had spoken with regards to the RSS. I want to, read that statement out for our audience. They said that Mr. Nadda said that the Bharatiya Janata Party has grown. शुरू में हम अक्षम होंगे, थोड़ा कम होंगे, आरएसएस की जरूरत पड़ती थी, which means there was a need for the RSS. आज हम बढ़ गए हैं, we are bigger, सक्षम है, we have grown, we are capable. तो बीजेपी अपने आप को चलाती है, which essentially for the translation is, in the beginning we would have been less capable, smaller, and needed the RSS. Today we have grown and we are capable. The BJP runs itself. That is the difference. Now, it is, if you just zoom out from this statement that Mr. Mohan Bhagwat made, and you look at the happenings that have happened post the 4th of June, these statements from a couple of statements we see coming out in the media from the Bharatiya Janata Party, because like Sujit said, there's an imprint of the RSS on the Bharatiya Janata Party. There was a point in time where every decision that was taken in the Bharatiya Janata Party had to have the blessings of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. Sujit, what I want to understand from you, the BJP post 2014, of course, there are some top leaders in the party who have a Sangh background. Of course, Mr. Modi has a Sangh background too. But there are the likes of Nitin Gadkari, who comes from the Sangh Parivar background. How do you see the role of the Bharatiya Janata Party as a political party emerging post 2014? Like Mr. Nadda said that, okay, now post 2014, we've grown. So we really don't need the RSS with us to have the backing. So do you see that the BJP now is pushing that it wants to show itself as an independent entity while having the same ideological bents and the thought processes and the agendas and that of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh? So do you see the BJP really trying to, I wouldn't say disassociate, but in the process where you're distancing yourself gradually from the RSS, Sujit?
You see, let me tell you this. RSS was the monitoring body of Bharatiya Janata Party right from the day one. Now, I have informed sources, for instance, who tells me that this entire Agra Accord, the last minute change happened because RSS chief then Sudarshan ji had called up the Prime Minister then Atal Bihari Vajpayee and asked him to pull back, saying that not acceptable. You can't agree to the Agra Treaty. If you remember the Indo-Pak, that is Pervez Musharraf and Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee's the conference or whatever, summit those days. So RSS was always looming large. You see, RSS would literally take an appraisal meeting of Bharatiya Janata Party ministers, members, important people who are holding important portfolios. They were literally appraised by the RSS, is what they say. Somewhere down the line, after 2019, Mr. Narendra Modi realized that why should he? The fact remains that it was Modi all the way. It was people who were Modi Leher and Modi support and Modi guarantee and all of that. Narendra Modi said, I don't need an RSS. At some point, Narendra Modi said, hang on, you have no right to appraise my ministers. So that appraisal system stopped. Now, mind you, this is a right-wing organization. This right-wing organization works on a lot of protocols. All of a sudden, RSS thought that they were irrelevant. RSS members who could walk into a minister's cabin, who could walk into any prime minister's conference, who could change policies like this, they found that they couldn't change it. Now, the point is, somewhere down the line, Modi, on the other hand, thought that why the hell? I am better than any RSS in this country. So why do I need an RSS? I don't need the RSS. My following is bigger than the RSS following put together. Why do I need an RSS? So Modi, on the other hand, went his direction, and RSS, on the other hand, went their direction. 2019, 2020, the RSS almost couldn't do anything because it was genuinely a Modi leher. There was genuinely a lot of popularity for Mr. Narendra Modi. And then came 2023, 2024. Then came the Ram Janmabhoomi, the Ram temple consecration. And then came the elections where RSS actually showed them that how important they were in the right-wing ecosystem. What they did was primarily what they did in Uttar Pradesh. What happened in Uttar Pradesh? I believe RSS has a large role to play in it. I mean, 33 seats in Uttar Pradesh is what Bharatiya Janata Party got, if I'm not mistaken. 33 seats was impossible if RSS would have put their might behind Bharatiya Janata Party. Yogi Adityanath, kind of soft pedaling to a certain extent was because RSS was backing him. All of a sudden, RSS started actually flexing their muscles to show Narendra Modi that, listen, you are not number one. Every statement that Mr. or Dr. Mohan Bhagwat said, even in his speech before and even the speech right now, is basically targeting Narendra Modi. It is not targeting anybody else but Narendra Modi. And what is he targeting? He is targeting the fact that you are not God. You are not beyond everybody. That is what he is targeting. What he is saying is you cannot be arrogant. You cannot be above everything else. This is what he is saying. What is the answer that he's giving to? The answer that he's giving to is that of Nadda's statement that now we don't need RSS. The clear division, the clear crack was with that statement, and whatever you're seeing from then on has been in front of you. This is what I would say.
Absolutely. In fact, just to pick up on what Sujit said, RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat, after this is the 11th of June, if I'm not mistaken, there were statements coming out from the RSS indirectly where you could see that the target was effectively the BJP and more specifically Mr. Modi. This is what
the target was never BJP. The target was never BJP. Shubham, my sorry, I'm interrupting. The target was never BJP. The target was directly Mr. Narendra Modi. Whenever Dr. Mohan Bhagwat said, he spoke indirectly, not directly, but indirectly about Mr. Narendra Modi. And the cause was very simple. The cause was always revolving around arrogance. revolving around authoritarianism, revolving around not taking consensus. This is what the entire his entire narrative has been, and that is what is continuing.
Exactly. In fact, just the arrogance bit is what I was coming to. The statement in his first remarks after the 4th of June, after the results of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections were out, Mohan Bhagwat said that a true sevak does not have ahankar or arrogance and works without causing any hurt to others. He said that the one who maintains decorum does his work but remains unattached. That's a true sevak. There is no arrogance that I did this. Only such a person has the right to be called a sevak. That was statement number one after the 4th of June. Then we come to a few days later. This is a piece in the Organiser that was written by RSS ideologue Mr. Ratan Sharda, in which he said the RSS cadre is taken for granted. And I'm quoting him here. What Naddaji said was actually the kind of statement I would have made at certain times, but not during election time. Because every organization which has been inspired by the Sangh has to have its own cadre and full-timers, and that's happening. But unfortunately, sometimes the RSS cadre is taken for granted. Do you agree with that, Sujit? Is the RSS cadre being taken for granted by the Bhartiya Janata Party under Mr. Narendra Modi?
See, I will tell you both sides of the coin. You see, RSS was one organization, and the ideologues like this gentleman were one set of people who wanted all the power but no responsibility. This was RSS. They wanted all the power. They wanted all, they wanted their way. They wanted to be part of every decision. They wanted to poke their nose into every administrative decision, and they didn't want to take any responsibilities. They called themselves a cultural organization, but they were there, part of every political decisions. Number one. So that is as far as RSS is concerned. Now, as far as Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned, you see, Bharatiya Janata Party is what Bharatiya Janata Party was in 2010, 2009, 2008. They're still there. What has moved ahead is not Bharatiya Janata Party. What has moved ahead is Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party. That has moved ahead. I won't even say after 2014. It has moved ahead since 2019. It has moved ahead. And it has left the original Bharatiya Janata Party the way it was, which would always be outside RSS, which would always wear that uniform and all, and stand in front of the Sarsanka Chalak like, any other Karyakarta or whatever they call themselves, Sangha Chalak, what is that? Swayamsevak, they would be that way. Narendra Modi said nothing doing. I don't want to do it. So Narendra Modi, in fact, started believing that, listen, he is bigger than RSS. He is bigger than Sangh. He is more popular than everything put together. He is more popular than even Bharatiya Janata Party. So therefore, in the campaign, there was no Bharatiya Janata Party. It was Modi's guarantee. It was not Bharatiya Janata Party's guarantee, which we said before also. What are we trying to say? We are trying to say that, listen, somewhere down the line, Modi believed, why do I need a Sangh? I don't need a Sangh. Sangh needs me. So, like other cultural organizations, let them also take appointment and come and meet me and ask me for my favor. Maybe I will be benevolent. But me going and reporting to them, out of question. So this was the actual tiff. And this tiff was played out in front of you, wherein, one statement here, one statement there. And yes, I would 100% agree. I mean, Nadda making a statement and RSS BJP president making that kind of a statement for an RSS person like Mr. Sharda or whoever he was writing that article for, I mean, it is unbelievable. He would have literally bit his finger to say, "Arey, sachi hai kya?" I mean, am I dreaming that a BJP president talking like this? So yeah, I mean, so both sides we have to look at, Shubham. And if you look at both the sides, this is exactly the picture without being favoring one party or another.
Sujit, then let's talk about the state of Maharashtra, because after Uttar Pradesh, like you mentioned, 33 seats is what the BJP came down to from 64 that the NDA had won. Maharashtra, the second biggest state in terms of Lok Sabha seats, is where the BJP also saw a massive dip in its tally. And mind you, Maharashtra is the state which is the home of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. Nagpur is where the headquarters of the RSS is. Nagpur is where leaders like Nitin Gadkari, who's union minister, he comes from Nagpur. Maharashtra's deputy chief minister, Devendra Fadnavis, he comes from Nagpur. And after like I said, the touch point is 4th of June. It's post that is when we are seeing these articles, statements, counter statements playing out. And one such thing happened just yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, was another RSS linked weekly. It's called Vivek, and in the piece that was written in Vivek, it effectively blamed the Ajit Pawar faction of the NCP for BJP's poor poll show in the state of Maharashtra. I'll play that graphic for you, full frame, what Vivek had said. There you have it on the screen. I'm quoting here: almost every worker, while narrating their displeasure and talking about the reasons behind the failure in the Lok Sabha elections, starts with the alliance with the Nationalist Congress Party, which is Mr. Ajit Pawar's party is the deputy CM and in alliance. It is clear that the BJP workers did not want to take the NCP along, despite a few hiccups. With Hindutva as a common link and the alliance between BJP and Shiv Sena having decades of history, voters were convinced that this alliance was a natural one. But the same feeling started to go to the other extreme after NCP came on board. Then the Lok Sabha results added to the displeasure. Of course, political leaders or parties have their own calculations and biases. Sujit, since the elections came out and what we saw play out in Maharashtra, not just during this election campaign for the last 5 years, if you go as far back as 2019, particularly after Mr. Ajit Pawar came on board, do you see that as a sign of desperation from the Bhartiya Janata Party to cobble up, break parties, increase their alliance partners, and hope that they are able to replicate electoral success? Clearly, it hasn't worked out the way the Mahayuti imagined in Maharashtra. Is it almost a nudge to the leadership that, hang on, while you can justify the alliance with the Shiv Sena as a natural alliance because Hindutva is the common field that both of you have, where is Ajit Pawar coming in this picture? And the fact that he's coming is not only, forget electorally, the cadre of the Bhartiya Janata Party, it cannot gel, it cannot work with someone who you accuse of thousands of crores of scam. So how do you see that playing out in Maharashtra, Sujit?
Shubham, then now I'll have to bifurcate your question into two different categories. First is, let us talk about RSS and Maharashtra. The first question you asked, RSS is headquartered in Maharashtra. So are we therefore saying that Mahayuti lost so badly? BJP did so badly in Maharashtra because of RSS? Not necessarily. See, because BJP did badly in Maharashtra because of the flawed strategy of BJP, which I will come to in my next part of the answer. RSS didn't play much of a role, number one. Number two, let us also understand this. Unlike a lot of people who says, my understanding is, and you can prove me wrong, my understanding is RSS doesn't play much major role in Maharashtra. Because had they played major role in Maharashtra, Bharatiya Janata Party would have been a formidable force long back. Bharatiya Janata Party in before 2010, 2012 and 2014 were not even relevant in Maharashtra. In fact, Shiv Sena was much more relevant in Maharashtra than Bharatiya Janata Party. It was a non-relevant party in Maharashtra. So therefore, RSS doesn't have that major clout in Maharashtra and all that, so that it can make some major political differences or political whatever manipulations or pull down BJP or push up BJP and all that. वो नहीं होता है. So let's put that aside. That being said, yeah, I mean, while BJP was not happy with RSS was not happy with BJP, that showed in Uttar Pradesh, that also showed in Maharashtra. There is no doubt about it. But it didn't make much of a difference in Maharashtra. The credit goes to Uddhav Thackeray and Mr. Sharad Pawar for whatever happened in Maharashtra. Number one. Let's keep that aside. The second question you asked me is, you see, 2024 broke a lot of myths. One of the biggest myth it actually debunked is that this Bharatiya Janata Party is this juggernaut and, with solid thinking machine and tremendous strategist and super poll strategist and all that. This myth was completely debunked. You see, the Bharatiya Janata Party and their strategist and the Chanakya and all of that was purely through brute force. So you come with me, else I will put you behind bars was the only strategy, which is not really a strategy. These are never long-term strategy. These the brute force. This was brute force that was used. So you are a corrupt fellow. I was interviewing one of the BJP leaders here, and believe me, he told me, he said to make Modi the next prime minister, we will do anything. It is okay. It is understood. So and that was the brute, that was the brute arrogance that BJP had. So the something called a strategy, something called as a poll strategy just didn't exist in BJP. All that was existing was the popularity or the assumed popularity of Narendra Modi and brute force of BJP. This was their strategy. So myth number one, that was broken. That myth was broken. What happened in Maharashtra, Shubham, is purely, let me tell you, purely a complete strategic failure of Bharatiya Janata Party. Bharatiya Janata Party somehow could never read Maharashtra. They could never read Maharashtra. They could never understand Maharashtra. You see, the fact is this land of Shahu, Ambedkar and Shivaji is not something that you can take for granted. It is Jyotiba Phule's land. You can't take it for granted because the people here are very, very, very politically conscious. People here base a lot of their trust on ideology and ethics. And the fact remains that you were actually crushing the concept of ideology. You were fiddling with the concept of democracy. You were literally kind of maneuvering democracy like you were playing some. It was like a chessboard. It was like some kind of a game that these people were playing. You see, I remember I was in a village, Shubham, and I was talking to a lot of farmers. I think you know what I'm talking about, where I'm talking about. That time, that one of the farmers walked up, we were just generally chatting up and we were figuring out why. This was much before the 2024 elections. One of the farmers told me, he said, Sahib, when Mr. Shinde and Mr. Fadnavis was laughing about how they took the MLAs from Mumbai, took them to Surat, then to Assam, and they were laughing at how it all happened and how they broke the party and how they got, they said, we felt very bad. We felt very bad. I mean, this is what they were playing with the democracy, our democracy. They were playing with our right. And I thought that was a very, 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 that was a fabulous statement. That was a fabulous statement. And believe me, Shubham, people of Maharashtra felt bad. People of Maharashtra said, no more. You can't play with our democracy. And that's exactly what they proved. That's exactly what they showed in that election. When that Kirit Somaya sat there and said that, people, they can come, corrupt people can join us, and we will try and see that they don't become corrupt anymore, or they don't do corruption anymore. And he told me that, like I told you, that it is important to get Mr. Modi in, so we will do some compromises. He told me that. When those leaders were making that kind of statement, Maharashtrians were rejecting it. Maharashtrians were said, hang on, wait, it's not going to happen here. And this result was the result of this. So, like I said, Maharashtra's result is very clear. It absolutely is because of complete disastrous strategy of Bharatiya Janata Party, disastrous idea of Bharatiya Janata Party that brute power can, they can rule Maharashtra through brute power, and the Maharashtrians showed them the result. Now, Bharatiya Janata Party coming back to power. Now, Bharatiya Janata Party getting that same old, when Devendra Fadnavis was the chief minister, the kind of support he had, the kind of power he yielded, that happening in Maharashtra with Bharatiya Janata Party, I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening at all. Vidhan Sabha will show you. The assembly elections will show you very soon what I'm saying.
Absolutely, because it remains to be seen how the politics plays out going forward, because these statements, while they're made one day, they appear in newspapers. If you read between the lines, you understand, like Sujit, put it in context for our viewers as to how things have been happening, how the chronology has been has taken place in the last few days and weeks. So it remains to be seen how it really plays out in actuality. Sujit, my final question to you before we end this live session: what next? If you are Mr. Modi, if you're Mr. Amit Shah, if you're the Bhartiya Janata Party, you're listening to these statements, you're reading them like any common citizen is. What do you make of these statements?
I will run to RSS office. I will run to Nagpur. I will once again go and reconcile with Dr. Mohan Bhagwat, because see, Dr. Mohan Bhagwat needs BJP as much as BJP needs Dr. Mohan Bhagwat. That is, RSS needs BJP as much as BJP needs RSS, because once BJP goes off power, RSS is irrelevant once again, like it was. So the fact is, I will run. If I was Narendra Modi, I would have run to Dr. Mohan Bhagwat. I would have asked him, sat him down and said, what does he want? And worked the middle way out. Maybe not given him the same kind of power, authority, power without any authority and responsibility. But I would have still worked out a way, because now BJP realized BJP is no BJP of 2019. BJP is in a very vulnerable situation. So BJP has realized that. I'm sure Mr. Modi has realized that he's in a vulnerable situation. So I think Modi should go down to Dr. Bhagwat, sit him down and say, Baba, what can I do for you? Let me know. I will do my best and work a middle way out. That is what I would do if I want to continue in power, and if I want to kind of be what I was and what I used to be before. If that is my ambition.
Vulnerable and arrogance, two terms, two words that we've seen a lot of it being used in the current political context post the results. Mind you, there's a political crisis already brewing in the state of Uttar Pradesh, where questions have been raised on whether Yogi Adityanath will continue as chief minister or not. There were a series of meetings. The deputy chief minister is apparently skipping meetings. There are bypolls in around 10.
Can you imagine, Shubham? I'm sorry, but to interject, but can you imagine? Arvind Kejriwal had said this is going to happen. Arvind Kejriwal had said that when Mr. Narendra Modi comes to power, this one Yogi Adityanath will be pushed out. He also said that when Mr. Narendra Modi comes to power, 2025, he will be vacating the prime ministerial chair. This also he had said. Now let us see whether that comes to that. That is assuming that Bhartiya Janata Party still dominates and they're still there till 2025, which I think they will. But then let us see whether that comes true, because this is kind of, I won't say this is much of a prediction or some great prediction or not. Most of us, everybody who followed politics knew that Yogi Adityanath and Mr. Modi didn't get along. A lot of them knew that Mr. Modi doesn't get along with most of the people who harbors ambitions of becoming the prime minister someday. And Mr. Yogi Adityanath did. Like Mr. Gadkari did, like Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan did. So people who have that ambition, of course, doesn't get along with Mr. Narendra Modi. So we knew, most of us knew that. But this is like kind of cool. This is happening, and this now let us see what happens in Uttar Pradesh. I am also very interested of what's going to happen in Maharashtra.
Absolutely.
Maharashtra is
coming up in a couple of months from now. 3 states.
Correct. And by the looks of it, Bharatiya Janata Party has no base. They really need to work on their base. They really need to correct all the mistakes that they committed. Taking Ajit Pawar, who they called 75,000 crores, the biggest thief and all that, them taking him as deputy CM and all that. But what were they thinking, Shubham? What were they thinking, that Maharashtrians are people who are without knowledge? Maharashtrians don't understand. And like I told you, they got Maharashtra wrong, so completely wrong.
Right. I think, Sujit, if before we conclude, if we're talking about Maharashtra, one visual that really comes to my mind, I don't know if you remember, I'm sure you would be remembering, 2022, when Mr. Shinde's MLAs came back from Guwahati, they were put in Goa first while it was announced. So Mr. Shinde was in Mumbai. He met Mr. Fadnavis. You had the top BJP brass.
They were in not Goa. They were in Surat, na? They were in Gujarat.
No, so they began with Surat. They went to Guwahati. After Guwahati, they came back. They were put up. I distinctly remember they were put up in a hotel in Goa. It was a press conference that was happening back in Mumbai. Mr. Eknath Shinde and Mr. Fadnavis were addressing that, and you had all other BJP leaders out there. That was the press conference where to everyone's surprise, Mr. Fadnavis announced that Mr. Eknath Shinde is going to be the chief minister. The visual I remember is of the MLAs dancing, getting up on the table and dancing uh, like this is some election victory. That one visual of elected representatives who, broke away from one party, went to Surat, went to Guwahati, then came back here, and now their leader has become chief minister. And the way they were dancing, some of them actually criticized that, look, this is, you are celebrating in a way the gradual death of democracy, where this whole politics of jod tod, where you break parties, and especially in a state like Maharashtra, it hasn't happened before. Two regional parties, two state-based parties split right down the middle.
No, it has happened before. Sharad Pawar has split the party. It has happened before.
Yes.
But that being said,
yes, two regional parties, I don't think we've seen that combination play out.
I beg your pardon?
Two regional parties in a span of 2 years. What we saw here in 2019,
correct.
Then BJP gets. So interesting times. Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, two big states as far as India is concerned, not just in terms of size, but politically as well, of utmost importance. And like Sujit said, it remains to be seen how it plays out in the Vidhan Sabha elections that will be coming up September, October. That's the time when elections for Maharashtra Assembly, Jharkhand, and Haryana is slated to be held. In Maharashtra, 288 assembly seats up for grabs. We'll hopefully try and get you ground reports, as many as we can, because it's a big state. And given this, these elections will be one of a kind. So it'll be really interesting to see, Sujit, from a ground perspective, how it is playing out. Like the example you mentioned of the village that you went to in Maharashtra, and people just did not approve of what happened. So interesting days ahead. We'll end it at that. To our viewers, thank you so much for joining in and listening to us. Sujit, thank you so much for taking out the time.
Thanks.
And and to our viewers, do stay tuned to HW News English. We have editorial with Sujit Nair coming up at 10 o'clock. I'm Shubham Chauhan signing off. Thank you so much for watching.